Hey guys, come on through, come on through. Hey everybody. Trying to fix my streams here. It looks like I'm having a few issues streaming. So let me just try to fix this really quick and remove the destinations and re-add them. We'll do that. Hey Centel, what's up? How are you? We're about to talk about this case um that is happening in Baltimore, Maryland. Hey, Gloria, how are you? So Baltimore, Maryland, Nicole Johnson. Nicole Johnson. Shout out to the Trey King show. This is how I discovered the case earlier today. Although many of you have probably been watching Trey King for as many years as I have. Um, he's been around a long time, and and he he did this story, and I got to researching it and wanted to discuss it with you guys. Um, so Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore County, woman named Nicole Johnson was pulled over, random pull over by Baltimore PD. And when they pulled her over, they found the dead bodies of her niece and her nephew in the trunk of her car. This was in Essex. Um, they were two young children that have been identified as Larry O'Neill, age 5, and Jocelyn Johnson, age 7. One of the children's bodies was found inside a suitcase, and police are saying that that particular child had been dead for over a year. Now, this is the aunt that's been charged in the death of these children. And then, of course, the question, that begs an answer is, where was their mother? Johnson, Nicole Johnson, that is being held at a Baltimore County detention center. She waived her appearance, had a brief bail review hearing. I guess she didn't think she was going to get any bail. She had been caring for these two children since 2019, after their mother moved from Ohio to Maryland and could no longer care for the children. This is what the mother told detectives. Deshelle Johnson. That's the mother's name. And she's on the thumbnail as well on this video. If y'all look at the thumbnail that I actually made, I've been really, really hitting hard with the thumbnails lately. I would tell y'all what I use, but I can't do that. Hey, Natalie, a year. Yep, nobody knew. Um, this is what the mother, Deshelle Johnson, wrote about the children on her social media posts. Quote, I wish it was me instead. I wish I didn't wake up tomorrow. Then she posted a GoFundMe fundraiser to raise money to help bury her children. It's like, hold the freak up here. Like the automatic go to these days is, let me get a GoFundMe going. These people like, these this is the mother. Hey, what's up, Queen? So like the first thing that she does, this is the mother of the children, is she starts a GoFundMe in an effort to raise money to, yet her kids, her son and her daughter, were with her sister who killed them. One of the children had been dead for over a year. Can anyone tell me why this mother wasn't in the know a little bit more here in this case? Why would she even think that posting a GoFundMe was even appropriate? On Deshelle Johnson's Facebook page, she also included pictures of the children together, including one who appeared to be Larry with close cropped hair and Jocelyn with braids with pink balls and matching pink sneakers. Of course, Deshelle Johnson has not made herself available for comment for any media inquiry. Johnson, this is what she's saying. She is telling detectives that she tried numerous times to get in touch with her sister and her children, but couldn't locate them. And in March, Deshelle Johnson said she arranged to meet her sister to get her kids, but they never showed up. Johnson had been unable to contact them since, and a detective notified her of their deaths. I don't even know how to say this name. Maybe it's Janae Tucker. Said she had been friends with Nicole Johnson and always knew her to be a, quote, kids person. Quote, she loved kids. You could trust her with your kids. Janae Tucker, you might want to fall all the way back. This situation is way bigger than you than that. Like, what? What? She said she last saw Johnson at Thanksgiving when she came over for dinner last year. She said Johnson did not mention her niece and nephew or that they had been in her care, but would occasionally post pictures on social media of the family. Tucker's aunt, Danielle Smith, said she talked to Nicole Johnson last month. And she was talking about getting a job, but did not say anything about the children. Smith said Johnson had been homeless, moving from hotel to hotel. Police listed Johnson's address as the 3500 block of Elmore Avenue near Bel Air Edison in Northeast Baltimore. The current tenant said Johnson moved out years ago, but she still has mail being sent there. Now, during the traffic stop, Johnson told the officer that the smell coming out of her car of the decomposing flesh was dirty blankets because she had been sleeping in her car. In a court questionnaire, Johnson listed Smith's daycare as a recent job. But Smith said Johnson was never an employee there. Smith said Johnson was a friend of her niece's, and she would regularly watch children of family members or close girlfriends. Quote, this is a whole surprise for us. This is not the person we know. We used to have our children around her. Now, peep this. Listen to this shit. 4 years ago, Johnson was charged with reckless endangerment and contributing to conditions that leave a child delinquent or in need of supervision. Online court records do not show the case, so it could not be determined whether she was actually convicted or cleared of the actual charges. In those charging documents, officers wrote that Johnson called police in November of 2017 to report a domestic assault at the Executive Inn Motel on Pulaski Highway. There, officers found a 4-year-old girl and a 1-year-old girl alone. The room was in disarray, and the 1 year old was in a wet, dirty diaper. They wrote that they found a large knife right by the television, smelled marijuana, and found empty cigarillo baggies and Ziploc baggies that they suspected to be drug packaging. Johnson arrived while the officers were there. The children were not injured. Quote, I was advised that both children would be taken under the care of CPS and placed in a foster home. The children did not have Johnson's last name, and it was unclear from charging documents if she was their guardian or relative. Baltimore County Police said they have not received any missing children reports regarding the two missing children or Nicole Johnson before she was stopped Wednesday night. Baltimore police did not respond Friday to questions from the Baltimore Sun asking whether city police had been asked to investigate the children's whereabouts in Johnson's care. This is pathetic. You mean to tell me that a woman who was charged with endangering children 4 years ago, that the mother felt comfortable enough to hand her kids off, and she's just went months or just a whole year, right? And she has not heard the voice of her own child? Deshelle Johnson, you're fucking disgusting. As far as I'm concerned, she should be in jail too. Now, I know they can't legally charge her with murder because obviously if she didn't commit murder, she didn't commit murder, but she damn sure abandoned her children. Why is Deshelle Johnson not being charged with like child abandonment? That's the type of shit that really, really pisses me off. It's unclear if the children were even enrolled in school. You did hear the ages, right? 5 and 7. Little Larry should have been in kindergarten, and Jocelyn should have been going at least into the first or second grade. She was 7. They were supposed to be enrolled in school, but obviously they're lying dead one in a trash bag and one in a suitcase for over a year in the trunk of her car while she drove around the city of Baltimore, Maryland. And let's not forget that she also made trips between Maryland and Ohio several times with the dead body of her niece and nephew in the trunk. And of course, Miss Deshelle Johnson, the actual mother who pushed these children out of her body, she has told people, right? This is what she's saying. She wasn't in a good mental place. And so she gave her kids to her sister for her sister to take care of them. Now your kids are dead. Was it worth it? I bet you. I bet you. And there's no reason for you to try to go back and hide your Facebook page now, Miss Johnson, Miss Deshelle Johnson, because everybody's already screen capped and screen recorded it. All the posts that you've been doing in the last year. Think about it. She's had a child that's been dead in the trunk of her sister's car in a suitcase for over a year. I wonder what she posted on Facebook 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Oh my, when those posts come out. So the sister, your sister, Deshelle, your sister was pulled over about 11 o'clock Wednesday last week at Eastern Boulevard and Wagner's Lane in Essex. She was speeding. The officer said that she had a fake temp tag and registration, and she was driving without a license. By the way, Baltimore County students or county schools said the children were never even enrolled. This woman didn't give a fuck about these kids. My question is, what money was she collecting? There's no way that she would have just did this just out the kindness of her heart. She had to have been getting a check from somewhere. So there's no way. Food stamps, a social security check, something. And my question is was the mother or any family member, did they collect a single dime of public money or federal money or even state money after the deaths of these children? Because God knows you, Deshelle, if you sat up here and collected any money on your kids the whole time and they weren't even in your care, and one of them was lying dead in a suitcase in the trunk of your sister's car, the other one was lying dead in a fucking plastic bag in the trunk of your sister's car, and you running around taking a single solitary penny. The fucking audacity of you, lady, to put up a fucking GoFundMe. Some of these people, some of these sorry ass, and they're mothers by fucking proxy. They're definitely not loving, caring mothers. They're the type of mothers that can literally give birth to two children, and go a whole year and not even speaking to their own fucking child, their little small 5-year-old, 7-year-old child. Do you realize, like, what you would have to do to me to, I mean, if I had said, hey, or asked my sister to take care of my children for whatever period of time, because I felt like I had a mental illness, and I need to be away from the kids so that I can properly get myself back right, or whatever the case may be. Do you know what you would have to do to me? You would have to physically restrain me. Oh, I would have found my sister. My sister wouldn't have been able to go a whole year and not talk to me, or not tell me how my kids are doing. Like, well, I want to hear my kids, put my kids on the phone. That shit would not have went down. It's pathetic, disgusting. You are not a good mother at all, Deshelle. At all. You're a horrible mother. And I just honestly feel like she should be charged for abandoning her children. Now, when the officer issued all these, traffic citations and told Johnson her car would have to be towed, Johnson told the officer, quote, "It don't matter. I won't be here in 5 days. Y'all going to see me on the news making my big debut," end quote. As Johnson removed items from the car's trunk before it was towed, the officer noticed the smell of decomposition. The officer asked to see inside the bags from the car, including a suitcase that Johnson attempted to conceal using a blanket before removing it and exposing one of the bodies inside the suitcase. Police said Johnson then tried to flee, but she was apprehended. Homicide detectives were called to the scene. The second body was found inside a plastic tote. Both bodies were taken to the state's medical examiner's office for autopsies. Police said at the time of the autopsy, the 7-year-old, she weighed just 18 pounds. The 5-year-old weighed just 21 pounds. The 7-year-old weighed less than the 5-year-old. According to doctors who did the autopsy, it would have taken several months of malnourishment to attain these weights. Johnson initially told police she did not know the children had been in the trunk of her car. She told police she thought the smell from her car was from a rat in the engine. In an interview with a homicide detective, Johnson admitted that in May 2020, while staying at the Regal Inn on Pulaski Highway in Rosedale, she became angry with Jocelyn, the 7-year-old, and hit her several times, causing the child to hit her head on the floor. Documents say Johnson told police she then put Jocelyn's body in a suitcase in her car. And that was in May of 2020. Today is August 2nd, 2021. It's well over a year ago. So it's like a year and 3 months ago, according to her, of course. And you can't ever depend, on honesty. Johnson also told detectives that 2 months ago, Larry had told her he was tired and had laid down to sleep and never woke up. Johnson told detectives that he had a wound on his left leg, but she couldn't elaborate about what caused the injury. She then placed his body in a tote, which Johnson kept in the car next to his decomposing body of his sister. Police wrote that Johnson never contacted emergency personnel about either child's death and continued to drive with them in the trunk of her car. The entire Baltimore County Police Department grieves with the community over the unspeakable deaths of two innocent children, quote, Baltimore County Police Chief Melissa Hyatt said in a statement. It makes no motherfucking sense. Like, it makes no sense. Do y'all know that these two beautiful children, also have a grandmother and grandfather that have been talking to the paper? I mean, we don't even see the mother. The mother won't even give a comment because she's shamed, and as she should be. You should be very shamed. You should be shamed as hell. Now, there's the father, Larry D. O'Neill Jr., who was holding his son on the day he was born in Ohio on October 4th, 2015. I just want to show you these pictures. That's Jocelyn. This was on Easter. There is Larry's grandfather, Larry O'Neill Sr. And of course, this is the young boy, Larry, who was found in the plastic tote in Miss Johnson's trunk. He was playing with his grandfather. And there's their grandmother, who was doing like a FaceTime or whatever app this is. And you could see Larry and Jocelyn. They were inseparable. From what I understand, they were inseparable from what I've read. It's so sad. It makes no sense. It pisses me off. It really, really makes me angry to think that, the mother is walking around like like ain't a damn thing happened. Mrs. Johnson, here, let's go ahead and expose you. We're going to bring you on up. Mrs. Deshelle Johnson. I mean, oh my gosh. You serious? Are you serious? It angers me. Let me see if I can grab a photo or something here. We're gonna find Deshelle's Facebook page, unless that bitch took it down. I'm gonna find it. Um, the mother. I should say the biological mother, or the lady that pushed him out, because she damn sure does not deserve the honor of being called a mother. How the fuck do you let two, not one, but two of your children be murdered and you don't even know it? Your children have been in the trunk of your sister's car, dead. God knows how long. We know the little girl, a year and 3 months, based off what police have put in their charging documents. And the children were born in Ohio. And the document details that while interviewing with police, Deshelle Johnson told investigators she and the children moved from Ohio to Maryland because, quote, she was unable to provide for her children and agreed to leave the children with her sister. Apparently, Jocelyn and Larry went into the sister's care in July of 2019, according to the biological mother, of course. I don't really believe too much she says, but hey, July 2019 is what she's saying. So basically, in less than 1 year, your daughter was dead within 1 year. But neighbors are telling Fox News that actually Johnson and her kids moved out of the house a couple of years ago. couple of years ago. Like the full truth's definitely not getting out here. And again, the ages of 5 and 7. The spokesman for each school system confirmed neither child was ever enrolled or attended school within its district, period. The biological mother told police she tried numerous times to get in touch with her sister but was unsuccessful. Quote, she eventually heard from the defendant in March 2021 and arranged to have the children returned. But the defendant never showed. Deshelle has been unable to find the defendant or her children until detectives notified her of their deaths. Can anybody tell me why Deshelle didn't file a fucking police report? Again, there would not have been anything anyone could have physically done to hold me back as a mother. The fact of the matter is that the police notified this woman that her children were dead and had been in the trunk of her sister's car for, well, at least one of them over a year. And it's damn near going to be impossible to really put an exact date on each, date that both of these children died, to know exactly how long they've been in the car, because the mummification process that takes place, it's it's horrible. It's horrible. But I want your Facebook, Michelle. I want your Facebook account. That's what I want. Let's see if we can find your Facebook account. Y'all give me just a second here. I want to see if I can find Mrs. Deshelle Johnson's Facebook account. 'Cause I would surely love to see what that looks like. Hold on a sec. And I know what Mrs. Deshelle looks like. She's on the thumbnail of this video. Her face absolutely uh, deserves to be on that thumbnail. You created 4 GoFundMe's, you trifling bitch. You are trifling. Here, let me show y'all. This lady, she created 4 GoFundMe's to get money for her children. But yet, you couldn't even pick up the phone. You couldn't even pick up the phone and report that your children were missing. 4 GoFundMe pages Deshelle Johnson has created to help, quote, bury my babies. You don't get your trifling ass up out of here, bitch. I wouldn't give you a red cent, you trifling bitch. Help me put my babies to rest. Girl, you disgust me. You disgust me. You disgust me. Let's take a look at these in detail, shall we? Let's take a look at these in detail. And I'm very familiar with Murder Inc. Be More. That's an Instagram page, right? And they cover, cases going on out in Baltimore. Definitely give it a follow. But these are 4 GoFundMe's, not just one, 4. And I'm going to go ahead and share this really quick on my page. I'm going to say, uh, Deshelle Johnson should be arrested and put in jail right along with her sister. Disgusting that GoFundMe's seem to be the first thing people think about when they lose someone in their family. Deshelle Johnson should be charged with abandoning her children who laid dead in the trunk of her sister's car over a year. I wouldn't give a trifling mother like that a single red cent. You shouldn't either. And that's my right to post that. I'm going to put that on the page that has, like, I think that's the one with 12,000 or whatever followers on it or whatnot. But yeah, this is her multiple GoFundMe posts. Should we go out to GoFundMe and go see if we can find if there's an active GoFundMe for Mrs. Michelle Johnson to bury her babies? Trifling, just absolutely trifling. And I hope you guys, will share this out so that we can get it in front of people because other people need to see this. This story, honestly, I've not been seeing really a lot of people talk about this story. I think it sort of went under the radar a little bit. I don't know why. But let's take a look. There does appear. Yeah. So she lied. Deshelle lied when she said that she took the GoFundMe's down. She's not being honest. So we've got one here. Here, I'll even share this out. We do have we actually have two active GoFundMe's right now in Deshelle's name. So let's take a look. Here's the first one: help bury my babies. She's asking for $15,000. Now, I want to be very, very clear and let everybody know that Deshelle told Fox News in Baltimore that that the funerals for her children have already been paid for. Basically, I don't know who paid for it, who's covering it, don't know, but that is what she said. But yet, here we have a active GoFundMe with a goal of $15,000. She wants $15,000. Quote, "Hi, my name is Deshelle Johnson. I'm trying to raise money to bury my children, 7 and 5. Who was in the care of my sister, Nicole Johnson? Police pulled her over and discovered the bodies in her trunk before towing the car away. Anything will help. I'm begging anyone to donate so I can send my babies home with the Lord God. Please, I don't have any help for them." Girl, you're trifling. Trifling ass bitch. Let me show y'all how I just searched this up. I just did a search. I did a search for her name. We've got a couple of different ones, but here's the other one, right? Let's take a look at this one. I don't know why. I don't know why she put this on here. She has a goal of $20,000. She's at, y'all, $2,688 has been raised. Y'all need to stop. Y'all seriously need to fucking stop. This shit has been shared over 400 times. 69 people have donated, and she's literally been able to raise a little over $2,600. But check out this. Please don't donate. It's all handled. Thank you. Request money back. 2000 isn't needed. I just wanted them to be laid to rest and at peace, and that is accomplished. Thank you for praying for them. Any money that still remains will be used for 5 separate urn for ashes and pictures and flowers for the funeral. And maybe a land plot here in Baltimore and one in Ohio where they were born if they can be done. I appreciate the well wishes for the kids, and now they will be at peace, safe in heaven with their nana and their own family. Girl, girl, girl. And see, that don't make it very easy to to like to be able to like click on the organizers and that sort of a thing. So I can't like click her name and see what other GoFundMe's. But let's look and see the top donations. So somebody gave 500, somebody gave 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. It must be nice to be a trifling ass bitch ass parent, a mother who had sex and gave birth to two children and then just abandoned them. Just abandoned them and walked away. But when they die, the first thing the bitch wants to do is pop out not one, but two GoFundMe's. Just trifling. Let's see what else we can find on Facebook, eh? Let's see what else we can find on the book. I know Centel's probably working and he probably just needs a, just a little bit longer leak, just a little bit longer. Um, Look at this nonsense. See, these are additional like screenshots. Look at this. I mean, wow. My two children passed. Hold on, y'all. Oh, did I lose it? Hold on. Let's go back in here. Help me put my babies to rest. So this has a $12,000 goal, but yeah, this lady had four GoFundMe's up. Um, and you can even tell that it's different, you can see the description. Look at the description. She didn't even put any thought or care into setting up the GoFundMe. Y'all notice that? No thought or care into that either. My two children passed by the hands of my sister. Please help me bury them. They were only 5 and 7. I need help. I'm emotionally broken. Well, you being emotionally or mentally or whatever broken is exactly why your kids ended up with your sister, why you gave them to her, right? Why should anybody put a single solitary dollar in your hand? You've given no care or concern for your own children. My sister had my babies in the trunk of her car for a year, dead and lifeless. They were alone, starving, and suffocated in that trunk. The person that's supposed to be my blood. Wow. Wow, you trifling bitch. You are so trifling. Like, that's like the best word I could use. It's the best word I could use. Let's see what else we can find out here. So here's some additional information. See, mm. So Deshelle Johnson says she sent her children to live with their older sister Nicole because she was having trouble providing for them. The reason being is because she was grieving the loss of the woman who raised her and was having mental breakdowns. I wouldn't just leave them, Johnson said in a statement to the Neighborhood Talk. The children's father was living in another state, and her sister was the only one she trusted. She was my big sister. She was supposed to be taking care of them. However, Deshelle says that after the children went to live with her sister, the sister allegedly moved and didn't tell Deshelle where she lived. Quote, I kept trying to reach out. I feel like she got attached and didn't want to give them back. Deshelle contacted CPS to assist in checking on the well-being of her children after not hearing from them for some time. I wonder when that was. I sure would like actual proof of that. I'm definitely want to be very, very clear that this is information I'm reading right now is coming from a blog. I don't know what they did to validate or verify that information. But unless I hear like an actual police officer say that, I don't believe that this lady called CPS and asked them to look on, to look in and check on her children. She didn't even try to call him her fucking self. She didn't even put in a police report. CPS would have told her, put in a police report. We can't find your children. to even check on them. Unbelievable. Quote, I know she did it. She alleged Deshelle, who also has an 8-month-old daughter. So you mean to tell me that you are raising an 8-month-old child right now? So you had a whole nother baby while your two other children were lying dead in the trunk of your sister's car? Lady, are you serious? You mean to tell me in the last year you done had a third child? This lady's 24 years old. Nicole Johnson is 24 on her third kid. Two of them are dead. Like, I'm just sitting up here wondering, like, when did you post this photo? You did your hair and you made sure to put on your makeup and all that type of stuff. But when you got up that morning, you took that photo. I mean, did you ever even give a thought to where your kids were that day? Girl, I'm sorry, but no excuses. I damn sure didn't get none. I raised three kids, three, and it was hard as a mother. It was very difficult. I raised three kids on a GED. I managed to create a whole career and everything while raising those children. And they was on the journey with me. But I never, ever threw my children in somebody else's lap and said, they're your job, they're your responsibility. Never. It's just trifling. It's almost difficult. It's really difficult. How the hell are we, as Americans or even human beings or people, how are we supposed to lift this lady up? How? 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 The fuck? All three of you left me all within 4 years. Well, the two of them, the two children, like that is the decision ultimately at the end of the day that you made, Deshelle. I don't have no. I mean, and then the first thing the lady does is put up a four GoFundMe's. No. Uh-uh. That's trifling. It's trifling. It's trifling. And nobody should be giving anybody any passes on the shit either. Let's listen to this.
That turned a quick cell phone recording
It's pretty crazy. It's kind of like heartbreaking, man.
into a brief look
There was like a pile of almost like garbage and stuff next to it, and they were completely surrounded.
into something
Mm.
even more shocking.
This was a gruesome discovery.
It happened just after 11 Wednesday night on Eastern Boulevard near Wagner's Lane in Essex. That's where police say a routine traffic stop came up with the discovery of two young children, a boy and girl, 7-year-old Jocelyn Johnson and 5-year-old Larry O'Neill, dead inside the car.
Something suspicious about this vehicle that
I don't know. Was it the smell, Joy, that was emanating? You could probably smell it a half a mile away, I guess.
I'm not at liberty to share at this point, only because this does remain an active and open investigation.
Police took the driver into custody as officers continue to push for answers in this early investigation.
Our detectives have a great deal of evidence they're going through at this point. As I mentioned, the relationship between these children and the driver, that remains part of this investigation.
The suspect now with looming charges,
It's definitely a relief. It just sucks that it still happened.
leaving a father in shock of the 5 seconds he has saved on his phone.
It like takes your breath away because I got two kids. I got a 2 and a 3-year-old right now, so it's like it's crazy, man. Tragic loss of life.
And a medical examiner will determine just how the kids died as the suspect tonight remains in police custody. At Baltimore County Police Headquarters in Towson, I'm Trey Ward, WBAL TV 11 News.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like I could absolutely, understand how we as people, we as people We got to stop giving passes to these sorry ass mothers and fathers, man. Like, this was an absolutely preventable tragedy. This was preventable. There's no excuse. Zero. Zero. As far as I'm concerned, this lady, if she really does have an 8-month-old child as well, I'm pretty sure CPS is probably going to be visiting her, but I think that's probably going to be just normal, just based on the fact that two of her children were found in the trunk of her sister's car. But did your mental capabilities somehow come back? Because you laid down, got pregnant for a third time, and you pushed a whole nother child out 8 months ago. So you've been walking around with a small little 8-month-old little baby, but yet you got a whole 5 and 7-year-old out here and you didn't even know where they were. And we're supposed to feel sorry for you and all of a sudden start donating. And in some cases, some of y'all have literally donated $2,600 to this woman. I wish GoFundMe would close that shit down, but they really can't. They really can't. It really becomes a question of just moral ineptness, just being just morally fucking bankrupt. Some of these people, man, I'm telling you, they have no soul. They're just like morally fucking bankrupt. This is, Miss Nicole. She looks, I mean, look, she even had to have gotten her hair done, and had to have paid money for that in the last month or two or whatever. It's unbelievable. Like, how many people smelled that car before those kids' bodies were found? Un Unbelievable. Let me look at y'all's comments. Hey, OG, what's up? Shout out to you. I figured I'd see you on this video. Man, isn't it crazy? Right. That's my thing. From what I've looked at, or the investigation or research I've done so far, it looks like there was a grandmother and a grandfather that seemed to care. They had like some pictures of the kids and everything. Um, but what they were saying is that they would get calls, but they would be like really far and few between. And it I don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Even if the mom didn't know about the actual deaths of her two children, even if she didn't even know, like the fact that she literally just walked away and abandoned her kids like that. In the state of Texas, if you do some shit like that, if you walk away from your kids for like more than 6 months and you just walk away, 6 months is all the state needs to take custody of your child and literally place your child in a whole different household and like strip you of your parental rights. And there are just some people out here that, although they may be able to push or create children and push them out of their bodies, that don't mean that they should be creating and pushing children out of their bodies. These people are unfit as e motherfucker. Yeah, Texas does not play. If that lady was down here and two bodies of two children would have been found in this lady's trunk, she'd be sitting in there on capital murder charges right now. I mean, there's just like no excuse for a dead child to even be in a plastic tote or wrapped up in a garbage bag like that, you know? And then it's not even just one body, it's two. So you can't claim no accidental bullshit. And then, it's obvious to me like she had some kind of like physical abuse situation going on, because even though the little boy has been dead for quite some time, she made sure to tell detectives that the child had an injury on his left leg and didn't know how the child had gotten the injury. I'm thinking that she did something to that child's leg at some point. That's what I'm thinking. She did something to that child's leg, and that's why she said that. Obviously, she was starving the children. I mean, they were 21 pounds and 18 pounds, respectfully. So she was not feeding them either. But I just wanted to go live and just talk about this case. I'm about to get up off of here and just finish up on a few more things. But I think more importantly for me, I think getting the message out was about the mother. Like Nicole's in jail. Nicole's going to be charged for her crimes. What about Deshelle, the one who's now walking around with an 8-month-old baby on her arm? I don't know why she's able to manage the 8-month-old, but she couldn't manage her 5 and 7-year-old. But I digress. Until next time, y'all.